the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands, and as many of you know, my classmate at Georgetown University, fellow alum, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett joins us now to let us know, give us an update on the impacts of Maria and Irma in the Virgin Islands. Congresswoman Plaskett, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
Well as as can be expected under circumstances. Very worried about your home. First of all,
Yeah.
are you there in the Virgin Islands?
No, I'm not. I'm actually in a motorcade right now, leaving Orlando. I'm sitting here next to my good friend Jennifer Gonzalez, who's the representative of Puerto Rico. Hold
Oh,
on, Jennifer, say hey. Hey, how
good
you
morning, Congresswoman Gonzalez. How are
doing?
you?
Say good morning. She's great. How are you doing?
Well, we're
Good,
fine.
good.
We're concerned about both of your
Yeah.
regions. The devastation
Well,
is something else.
we're headed we're headed in a car right now with the vice president. We're in Orlando, heading first to the Virgin Islands, then he'll be going to Puerto Rico. So we should be wheels up well before 8 o'clock, and on our way to the territory. So I'm excited to talk with him. We've had some really great conversations on the plane from DC heading to Orlando last night. We were briefed by FEMA, the regional director, who really gave an outline of what's being done, what's on the ground, how FEMA is moving, what their challenges have been, how they can, and what will be the next step. In the Virgin Islands as well as in Puerto Rico, we took really massive hits to our territories, to the island, and that in itself was devastating. What it happens when Category 5 hurricanes hit
Hmm.
island territories. But what makes it particularly challenging is getting what's needed on the ground because of the uniqueness of being on an island. And, FEMA is doing a valiant effort to try and respond to the needs of the people and get things where they need to be. Has it been as fast as they would have liked? No. Can they do better? Yes, we can always do better. So we're having some really transparent, honest discussions about that. And I'm also really thinking about the next steps, which are the rebuilding. How do we use this as an opportunity in areas that were already cash strapped, areas that did not receive the same proportional federal funding as other states, areas that had financial challenges, had disproportionate number of people living in poverty,
Hmm.
to use this as a way to overcome some of the obstacles we've had in the past and to leapfrog technologies, to become much better at being the flagstaff and the beacon of American greatness in the Caribbean basin. That's really what we need to use this as an opportunity for.
We know that much of Puerto Rico is still without electricity. What's the status of electricity in the Virgin
Well,
Islands?
on the island of St. Thomas, right in the after the hurricane, all of the grids were completely knocked out. St. Thomas, 90% of the utility system was gone.
Hmm.
No one had power. On St. John, 100%. On the island of St. Croix, 85, 90% of the utility system was gone. They've been able, and the linemen of our Water and Power Authority, working with the Army Corps, have been doing a tremendous effort. We had buried lines in the capital, Charlotte Amalie, and in some streets of Christiansted on St. Croix, they were able to get those up very quickly, as well as giving support to the airports on St. Thomas and bringing up some other areas on St. Thomas. So slowly and surely, they're getting power back up, but much of the Virgin Islands is still without power. Cell system is very shoddy. It's difficult to be in touch with people by cell. You can always tell where there is cell reception by the number of people that are congregating or cars parked up in an area where you just kind of say, whoa, 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 I've got bars. stop the car. But also some of the issues we're concerned about is, many of our schools most of the schools were damaged, some were destroyed, and both of our hospitals sustained tremendous damage. The hospital on St. Thomas, the roof came off. The one on St. Croix, well, the roof was so damaged that not just the third floor became, they had to move patients off the third floor, but the second floor as well. So all of our inpatients, our dialysis patients have been moved off of the island, and they are really operating kind of like an Army tent triage with one operating room on each island that they've kind of MacGyvered together and are utilizing that to service the people, because people are still going to, and now that people are repairing, there are going to be accidents. My own press secretary on St. Croix chopped his hand with a machete as he was clearing bush and cutting coconuts in his yard. So we know that the accidents are going to happen, so we've got to be careful of that. And babies are going to continue to be born. People are going to continue to have issues, and those doctors and nurses are just tremendous.
Is the military presence is on the ground in the Virgin Islands?
There is a military presence on the ground. The concern has been, are they pushing out to the areas that need it most? Our governor decided that he would set up distribution centers using the National Guard, using other National Guards to come to support those centers. I've had some concerns about that because I think that more often than not, the people who are most vulnerable are elderly, those without transportation, cannot get to those distribution centers that need it very much. Additionally, the Army Corps, getting their mandate from the governor, went ahead and really spent a tremendous amount of effort, time, working on bringing back potable water, running water through the water system. But most Virgin Islanders get their water through cisterns under their homes that collect rainwater or are filled with from a water service. So now they've begun, we're a month out, they're now begun testing homes for contamination in the water due to the hurricane and the salt blast coming into those cisterns. So there's a lot of work to be done, and we're really hoping to stabilize people getting support for their roofs. So many people lost their homes, but we're a resilient people. And I really want to make sure in Washington that we're focused on giving Virgin Islanders everything they need. Like, one of the things that I gave as an example to people is that we're really a strong people and a proud people. You're not going to hear us screaming and crying and begging for support, but Virgin Islanders really need it. We've lost so much of our critical infrastructure, ports, hospitals, schools, as well as individual homes. And I give people the example that when I go and I'm on the distribution line or I've been at the grocery store, and the new greeting for people when you see each other is that you haven't seen before the storm is you ask them, you hug one another and you ask, how did you make out? And to a person, everyone will say, I'm good. My family is physically fine. Thank God for life.
Yeah.
I just want to thank God for life, that I have my life. And they want to leave it at that. And you have to actually push them to ask them, well, everyone else? They're like, fine. And you're like, well, how's the house? How is your house? And then they'll just quietly shake their head and say, I lost my.
Congresswoman, do we still have you? I think we lost the signal.
But that's not what they want to. That's not what they want to say to you.
Right.
Not what they're supposed to be.
Congresswoman, I think you're breaking up on us. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine. Let me ask you this quickly. For those who want to contribute to the relief effort, do you have a website for them to go to or a number they can call to get involved?
Sure. They can contribute to the Red Cross. and you can delineate that the money should go to the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
You can also go to NOVAD, the National Organization of Volunteers for America, and that organization, that website will list all of the organizations that are doing work in the Virgin Islands. And if you're even interested, you can go there and volunteer also.
All
But
right.
there are a host of other volunteers, and I have to just give big ups and really shout out to all the Virgin Islanders that are living in the who have really band together and done a tremendous job of bringing relief and support. Those organizations in Atlanta, the DMV, in New York, Tampa, Orlando, all over the country, Houston, have been tremendous in supporting, even San Antonio, and Tim Duncan and his organization,
Mm-hmm.
our fellow Crucian Virgin Islander, have been tremendous in supporting the people.
Outstanding. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, sounding very optimistic. It's still an uphill battle. Give us the website again for people who may want to help or volunteer or donate, please. Congresswoman, you still with us? Did we lose her? I think we did. The signal was bad. And she's also in the motorcade on their way to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico with Vice President Pence. Congresswoman Jennifer Gonzalez Colon also on the line, but I think we may have unfortunately lost them. Congresswoman, are you still there? Did we lose her? I think we did, unfortunately. But ladies and gentlemen, we just want you to know that these are still areas of concern, and we know what the devastation has been. Do we have her back? Is I don't know. I think we're gonna try to. I think we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna try to work it out. Ask him to repeat the website again. Give you that website again. I want to be sure I repeat it, so that people can know where to send their donations, or NOVAD dot org or dot com. .org. NOVAD.org. NVOAD. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. NVOAD. Yeah, just NVOAD.org. If you want to help out in any way that you can, NVOAD.org is where you would go. National Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. NVOAD.org. We're thankful to have had Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett on with us this morning. And briefly, we heard from Congresswoman Jennifer Gonzalez Colon of the Virgin Islands as well. So good to get that update.